this thing on yet? Is this thing on yet?
About to find out.
Looks like it is. Looks like it is. Cheers to that as we have our second ever bourbon happy hour Q&A, whatever you want to call it here. Welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. He's Andrew Fox Miller. I'm James Rapien. Hopefully you got your bourbon out, bourbon ready. If you're, drinking bourbon with us, if not, it's okay. It's okay. We are equal opportunity question answerers. And cheers to that. Let's start, my friend, with this.
Why are we doing cheers?
Because we got the 21,000 subscribers, and we should have done this for 20K, but you guys are the best, and so we got the 21K before we could get together and do this. So it's been a lot of fun. I say it all the time how exciting it is to chat with you guys here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk, and now we get to chat in real time. So hopefully you're enjoying everything that we got. We'll dive into some questions, so get them in there. Hopefully you're pouring bourbon. By the way, people are going to ask, grab that bourbon that Andrew that you poured us. Yeah, the one we're sipping on right now.
Yeah, sure.
Well, tell them about it. A little Jefferson's Reserve. This is Andrew's bourbon collection. See, we record at Andrew's house, so we get to drink his bourbon.
Yeah,
Funny how I came right from the stadium. I didn't get to stop home. Guess what? We're drinking his bourbon.
Yeah, no, it's basically like an Angel's Envy, right? It's a cask finish bourbon. Very good though. Recommended. Not a sponsor. Not getting paid to say this. Just drinking it.
Wow, there's my first taste. You just witnessed it. Pretty good. All right. We can dive into some questions. We're planning on going for about 45 minutes or so. That's the plan here. Hopefully you guys are hearing us okay. Hopefully everything's okay. It seems like it based on the comments and everything. So let's dive in. The Bengals made a hell of a lot of moves today. A lot of them. Andrew, name them.
Let me pull up allbengals.com, James.
There we go. Or right here. That's one of the reasons why we're having this live too, is because, I knew they were going to make a bunch of practice squad moves as well.
Let's get this
so we can talk about that.
Ask.
Yeah. Michael, are you related to Brandon? Mike, are you related to Brandon? Maybe. Michael Allen, look, don't worry about your cousin, Brandon Allen. He's going to be back in a day or two. It's simple. He's a vested veteran, not subject to waivers. And the Bengals, I don't think they realistically thought they were going to be able to be awarded and get awarded 3 guys via waivers. So they put the claims in and they looked up and they're like, wait, we got all 3? So yeah, that was wild to see them get that. And I think that's where they were like, all right, Brandon Allen, Michael Thomas, we're going to release you knowing that you're not subject to waivers. No other team can just claim them like they did with Kendric Pryor, for example. And so they'll bring them back in a day or two. I expect them back on the roster by the end of the week and probably as soon as tomorrow.
What's going on with Drew Chrisman? I've seen that.
Oh, man, what's going on with – he's back on the practice squad. All of the punter debate, and he's back, at least for now. And, look, Drew Chrisman punted really, really well. The vibe I get is that he didn't overwhelm the Bengals enough to go against Kevin Huber, a guy who's been really consistent, and I think that they still believe in. And so that's where it's at. But, yeah, he was in the Bengals locker room today, and I saw him, and I'm like, oh, Drew Chrisman didn't get plucked. So that doesn't mean he won't. But Buffalo, last I heard, they were bringing in the kid from Denver, and I forget the guy's name, but Denver released him, and they were bringing him in for a visit. So Buffalo might not even need a punter. So who knows? Maybe the Bengals get lucky and can keep Drew Chrisman. I don't know if they'd keep him on the practice squad all season, but at least for this initial part of the season. Are they still going to get O.J. Howard? This is a big one. And I think, first, let's do this. And I have some thoughts on it for sure. Andrew, as a Bengals fan, do you want O.J. Howard, knowing Hayden Hurst is on the roster, knowing Drew Sample practiced today, which he did practice today? Maybe it wasn't in full. They don't have to give us injury reports, and we're only at practice now for 30 minutes. It's in-season type stuff. But he was at practice today. I think he's making his way back and could be back and should be back, really, for week 1. Mitch Wilcox battling that ankle, and then you got Asiasi, who they claim today, obviously Devin Asiasi from the Patriots. So do you want O.J. Howard?
Well, James, so no, O.J. Howard. Yeah, I mean, look, it all comes down to what are we paying? What's the length of the deal? Give me the details.
1 year league minimum.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
because he's making $3 million from the Buffalo deal, and so there's that. And so you want him. We'll see, commenters, if you guys want OJ Howard. Here's what I think the situation is with OJ Howard right now, based on reading the room. Nothing more than that, nothing less than that. Just reading the room. And when you read the room, I think the Bengals were interested in OJ Howard. Maybe they still are interested in OJ Howard. But the fact that they got these three guys on waivers, one of those guys, in Asiasi, plays the position, that Howard plays. We need this closer?
I would.
All right. Whatever, whatever you want here. Look, overall, I think Devin Asiasi gives them what they're looking for in a tight end right now, which is a blocker. They have the pass catcher, the dynamic guy in Hayden Hurst. I don't think OJ Howard is that anymore. Can he block? Yeah. Is he a better blocker than Asiasi? One guy's known for his blocking. The other guy was known for his 40 time and his athleticism. And some of that athleticism clearly isn't there anymore. Otherwise, the Bills wouldn't have been in on him. So I don't know. I know Ian Rappaport right now is saying OJ Howard is still on track and is still going to sign with the Bengals and all of that stuff. I would temper those expectations a little bit. And to me, it's almost, I'm leaning the other way. I'm not saying they're not going to sign him, but if I had to, do Cincinnati Bengals talk odds on it, I would say probably not as of right now. Could he be in town? Maybe. But as of now, I think that they're going to pass on the idea of signing OJ Howard. Could it happen later? Again, maybe. But I think Devin Asiasi, they were quite pleased to land him. I mean, this guy was the 91st overall pick a couple years ago in 2020. And so they get him, a big guy listed at 260, 6'3", 260. I think he's a little bit bigger than that. So I think they're confident in him.
Thad Moss, hot topic. He's on practice squad.
He is on practice squad. Yeah, Thad Moss on the practice squad. And I think that makes sense. I'm not bummed about that. I actually think he played better in the preseason than people realized. Like the push off. Actually, that was a touchdown. I don't know why the official threw the flag there. Holding on that Chris Evans long run looked kind of cheap to me, but did have the drop. That's what I remember. I remember the pass through his hands against the Rams, up the seam. That's the one that really irks me. So he's been a little inconsistent. Not shocked that he's on the practice squad.
This is an important question and statement. All the above.
That's right. The star. He's here. He's wearing his Joe Goodberry hat.
Yeah.
And good to go, man.
Someone did ask about the hat. I see comments, and if anyone hasn't watched us watching right now, is watch Bengals on the Brain every Tuesday, 8 p.m. with Joe Goodberry. Check it out. I'm sure a lot of you have, though. And there are a lot of comments. Where do I get that hat, Joe? Where do I get that shirt, Joe? Where do I get that hat, Joe? Where do I get that hat, Andrew Foxmiller? I usually try to send the links to those people, but check out Joe Goodberry on Twitter. He's got his link to his merch website at Redbubble. And then there's also gear at Rivertown Inquiry. They cycle through some things there. So definitely check it out there as well. You can get it in the store here in Cincinnati if you're local, or you can get it online.
Speaking of Rivertown Inquiry, went there today. And, man, Doug and his crew do a great job. I mentioned that on my last video. Got this shirt there. It is the most comfy shirt. Feel this thing, man. Feel it. Look. He saw it. I walked out. I was like, man, I got this from Rivertown today. And he was like, that looks good. And it's just a little logo here. Really subtle. You can't even tell it on camera. My type of shirt. So get the rivertowninquiry.com. All right. There's the plug.
We've got a lot of O-line type
questions. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. Get your questions in.
Back up our recent acquisition here. Geez, how did I lose it already? Actually, real quick, let's do a Taylor Britt update. Where are we at with him?
He's going to be placed on injured reserve tomorrow. Most likely he'll miss the first 4 games as he comes back from that core muscle injury. That wasn't quick enough for you. It's okay. That paved the way for Alan George to make the roster.
This kind of ties in with what I was getting at.
Scharping better than Carman. How much dead money if we cut him? Max Scharping is a better player today than Jackson Carman is. No doubt about it.
That's really loud.
That doesn't mean that Carman is going to get cut, and he's not going to get cut. They're hoping to get more out of him. Part of it is he's 22, inconsistent. They're trying to work out those kinks because as bad as it looked at times against the Rams, most of the time it was fine. Not great, but fine. But there was like 7 plays, right? 5 plays where it was just dreadful. They got to figure that out. And you can't have that in front of number 9. And they know that at PBS. So, I think Max Scharping could certainly pass Jackson Carman in the pecking order of backups. And I love this one. I mentioned this on Locked On Bengals as a potential target on today's show, not the one that just went up, but the one prior, and just reacting to the roster cuts and stuff. And to me, 26 years old, they did their due diligence in 2019, former second round pick. Houston, it's a new regime. All of these things have changed. Look, he's made, 48. He's appeared in 48 games, made 33 starts. That's the type of guy that I want. Jordan, yes, the Bengals did have a full practice today. For those wondering, they did.
You're not reading what I'm flashing up, but you're getting off script here. What are you doing?
Jason, no, Carman is not getting cut. I'd be really surprised. And by the way, I don't think he should be cut. Why should he be cut? I mean, the coaches say he works hard. Now, I get it. The body language is bad. And that's the part that irks me the most, is the body language isn't the best. So when you mix that in, with everything else and the struggles, it makes it tough. But no, I do not anticipate Jackson Carman getting cut, at least at this time. And I expect him to make the roster. What do we got?
Frequent. I'm not going to flash this out there, but I think like trying to call us out like
Oh.
It's not our merchandise. It's not no, I don't care. It's not our merchandise. If someone asked where the hat's from, I don't make this hat. I don't make money from this hat. It's not mine. Someone was asking.
Shaw always tries to get.
Yeah, I see Shaw in the comments, man. I know what's going
on. Get that Travion one up there. That's all right. It's all right.
Travion.
It's okay. Why Allen over Browning? Because Allen's better. I mean, here we go. I'm gonna go on a rant here. People after the Giants game got all over Brandon Allen. He was 14 for 20, and yeah, he missed Stanley Morgan Jr. deep, and there were a couple throws where the timing I think was off on some of those out routes. But overall, I think Brandon Allen was pretty good this preseason. I thought he played really well against the Rams. Why not Brandon Allen? Jake Browning hasn't even thrown a pass in an NFL regular season game. And you know what else? He cleared waivers today and is back on the Bengals practice squad. He was the other quarterback not named Joe Burrow at practice today. So why Brandon Allen? I think he's held in higher regard and has more experience, and the coaches trust him more. Does Hayden Hurst outdo CJ Uzomah from last year? About the same? Michael,
thank you.
I was actually, and I can't say who, I talked to a coach about this today. Can't say who. And I think the feeling there is much like the feeling is outside of those Paycor stadium walls. I got it right, by the way, Paycor. It's been tough to get that down.
I don't have to edit. I don't have to fix it.
Oh my God. You know how many times
he will mess it up. He'll text me and he'll go, Andrew, I just said Paul Brown Stadium. I paused and then said Paycor. Will you go in and fix that at the end?
It's at the end of the video. I'm not going to recut an 8-minute video when I'm like, I'll talk to you soon from Paul Brown. And I'm like, oh. Anyways, to get back to your question, Michael, I think Hayden Hurst is much more dynamic than CJ Uzomah. Uzomah's a better blocker, which is part of why I think they went and got someone else that can block, and Devin Asiasi. But to me, you get a guy like Hurst and you put him with Burrow. I mean, Burrow loves throwing to the tight end. He just does. Think about it. Thad Moss is in the NFL right now because Joe Burrow threw to him a decent amount in that college football playoff run in those 2 games. He had a couple touchdowns in that national championship and made some big plays, of course. And then as far as Hurst goes, I think he looks really good. I think he looks dynamic. I think you're talking about single coverage against some linebackers at times or safeties where he's going to be able to just outmuscle the safeties and outrun the linebackers and just be a dynamic piece. Now, there's a guy named Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. Those guys are going to get their touches, of course. But I think Hurst is a guy who, if you looked up and he had 7-8 touchdowns, 600+ yards, and who knows, maybe more, hopefully not too much more, because then maybe that means someone else got dinged up. But yeah, I think he could do that, and he's going to add another element to this offense. And that's the exciting part, is I think this offensive line can hold up much better than it did last year. And with a guy like Hurst, he could thrive. There's going to be some big Hayden Hurst weeks, no doubt.
Let's see.
Appreciate the question, Michael, and thank you. Oh, Jesse, you don't want that. That would be great, though. That could be a reality show.
No.
He could edit.
Don't do that to me.
He could edit all the time. We could do that. That's actually a really good idea. The Cincinnati Bengals talk live show. It's like Big Brother, just us roomies. Look,
Yeah, this is a thank you for that.
yeah,
wow.
roomies. Yeah, I
Okay.
love it.
I think I have no thoughts. We'll move on. We'll move
That's
on.
right.
Let's get to
That's right. Hey, that's what the channel coordinators. I have no thoughts. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. I can get that done. There you go. Thumbnail moment. That is right. That is exactly right. You're gonna have to clip that. That's a good one. Maybe put some music, clip it 8 seconds, some soft slow-mo.
Okay, we're gonna get off this topic. I just want to comment quickly too. Like, of all the, I've only seen Hurst this offseason in limited role, but James, obviously, when we do those highlights, most of you have seen those, right? James will send me a bunch of clips. I throw them all together, mix them together, put them up. Appreciate all the comments and the views on those. And I think of all the stuff that you send me at Hurst, one thing I notice is how physical he is, but like extremely light on his feet. I almost could probably put together an entire video of every time he slows down his run, that little trot he does, like toes out. He's like a feather running on the ground.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He's an elite athlete, and look, for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out in past situations. Part of that is Mark Andrews and Kyle Pitts exist. Part of it might be some of what Hayden Hurst brought to the table, and maybe teams were over relying on him or whatever the case is. Well, here, he's the 5th option. He's not ahead of Tyler Boyd. He's obviously not ahead of Joe Mixon. He's not ahead of T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. And so, yeah, like in the red zone, you know what I don't want to do? I don't want to put Jamar Chase in single coverage or let T. Higgins outmuscle my nickel cornerback. I don't want to worry about a linebacker trying to guard Tyler Boyd. So like the last thing you can focus on is Hayden Hurst. So do I think he might look up and just have 3 uncovered touchdowns this year, especially if they get that run game going, you do a little play action. Now that could be Drew Sample a little bit because of the blocking, but I think they'll use Hayden enough as a blocker to make that work. And you can use him as a decoy in pass catching situations and stuff. So yeah, I think so. Sure. Good. Do you think the Bengals will run any 2 tight end sets? Or Spurgood, excuse me. Sorry, Spurgood. Spurs fan entered the chat. All right, Tim Duncan. My first memories. Hey, we'll do a little Spurs. We'll entertain him a little bit. Oh man, I remember the '99 Spurs. Avery Johnson hits the shot. So the year prior, I'm like 8 years old at the time. The year prior, Jordan hits the shot over Russell, where he hits him with the crossover. And then Avery Johnson hit the dagger against the Knicks. I believe it was in game 5 in 99 out of the corner. And I just assumed that every NBA finals had a dagger shot because those were like the first finals that I was like watching like every play. Anyways, that's my first Spurs memory when they won the title that year in 99. 2 tight end sets. I think so. I think a little bit because you're going to want to have Drew Sample on the field for some of his blocking. He is a good enough route runner. Some Hayden Hurst in there as well, but not a ton because look, if Hurst gets nicked up, you're not going to have Drew Sample take Hurst's spot. You're just going to open the offense up a bit more and add another receiver or put Chris Evans out there and split him out or something like that. So to me, you'll see some of it, but I think it might be even less than last year, especially if the offensive line holds up and they have some confidence in that line, because if they have that, then they're not going to need to have many 2 tight end sets, especially with this scenario where you have a guy in Hurst who isn't the blocker that Uzomah was, is obviously more dynamic as a pass catcher, though. Appreciate the question. Hopefully the Spurs can tank this year and much like they did with Tim Duncan way back when in 97 or 98 or whatever that was.
Okay, let's see here.
James isn't already buzzed, Ryan. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? This is me. Welcome. It's a lot of energy. I get it.
Spurgood echoing your recollection there.
Yeah, game 5. Cool. Yeah. Thank you. I thought it was game 5.
I've seen this one. I like this one.
Zach Carter. I mean, he played primarily defensive end at Florida, and the fact that he's moved inside has been effective in taking that on. I'm not sure how many people were confident in that. Now, that doesn't mean Jeff Gunter hasn't been impressive. You know, he's a 7th rounder and he made the 53-man roster out of Coastal Carolina. I mean, that's an achievement in and of itself right away. So Both have been impressive. I would say Zach Carter, though, because I legitimately think he's going to make an impact on that interior. And on draft night, if you would have said that to me, I would have made a face like, we'll see. So far, I mean, the Bengals draft, first round pick, third round pick, fourth round pick, all going to contribute right away week 1.
Just kind of comments.
Yeah, Michael, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I hope so. I don't know if the bourbon helps us get more exposure or not, but we certainly enjoy that aspect of it as well. So I appreciate the kind words.
A little Volson talk. Why not?
What do you think? Go ahead.
What do I think?
Go ahead. Volson, everyone is excited, but it isn't the same time to start to temper expectations.
Define expectations.
Well,
what expectations do we have other than being a starter, right? I mean, there's a lot of expectations with that as a first year, sure.
Yeah.
But
I think he's going to take his lumps early, but the difference between him and Jackson Carman, one guy is learning, one guy has shown more consistency, one guy has shown all the work ethic and intangible traits. And I think we could look up, and again, Cordell Volson this year, I think there's going to be some bumps. Hell, Jamar Chase took some bumps in the preseason, right? And so Volson might have to deal with that early this year. He's a 4th rounder. He's not a 1st rounder. He's not a guy that's going to wow with his athleticism or his processing or all of those things, that let Joe Burrow be what he was as a rookie, that let Jamar Chase be what he was as a rookie, that is going to let, I think, Dax Hill be what he's going to be this season. But I think Cordell Volson is going to be pretty solid, and we're going to look up and he's going to play 8 to 10 years in the league and be one of those mid-round guards, right? That just does that. So he's not an elite athlete, but he's big, he's strong, he works hard, he's smart, he's dedicated, all of those things. So I think he's going to be pretty good overall this year. And by the end of this season, maybe this is a take. By the end of this season, the Bengals left guard will be better, assuming health, of course, than the left guard they had at the end of last season. And I'm not naming names.
Some Kappa questions. So this is kind of a way to get all those together along with La'el and concerns.
Yeah, the injuries with Alex Kappa and La'el Collins. All right, let's start with Kappa. No. I mean, there's a core muscle injury. Those things happen. I don't know exactly how he got it, but think about it. Hernias. How many people do you know that have had hernia surgery? A lot, right? And so those can happen randomly. Those can happen for whatever reason. So not a concern there. La'el Collins, I think they were preserving him. They put that dude in bubble wrap. He tweaked his back. Hey, bubble wrap him. We are not playing anyone else. He has every incentive. He has more incentive to play every game than Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase or insert whoever, because all of his money is tied up in incentives, like per game incentives. And I think the coaching staff is pretty confident that they're going to be able to get him ready to go and in all the way back. Now, will he give up something against TJ Watt? It's TJ Watt. At the same time, they know what they were getting with La'el Collins. Is he a bit of a, you're going to have to baby him a little bit and make sure, yep, but he's going to be ready to go week 1. That's their plan. And so if he's ready to go week 1, no complaints there. So he's taken mental reps for a bunch, a bunch of weeks now, like 2 weeks at least. And Alex Kappa's been in for the majority of camp. So no worry on Kappa. Collins has that injury history, so you are concerned about that. But as far as him being healthy week 1, he's good to go. We'll see how he plays.
A quick aside, I have a few questions.
Yeah, Casey, I do think Joseph Osai is ready. The reason you haven't seen much from him in the preseason is because they gave him that starter treatment. And that's good. That's a good sign. You want starter treatment because starter treatment means that they've seen what they need to see. And I think they saw that in camp, and I did too. Honestly, Casey, Osai got into it. Trey Hendrickson at one point. And this doesn't mean he's a hothead. It means he's a pest. There's a difference. It's not like he's talking a bunch of trash. He just has a motor that goes. So I'll preface it there. But he's got into it with Trey Hendrickson, got into it with Jamar Chase at one point. I'm trying to think of who else. There was an offensive lineman he got into it with. I think it was Ted Karras. I mean, this guy mixes it up. He just goes and goes. I think he's going to be really good against the run for a first-year defensive end, and I know he's in his second season, but a first-year defensive end, and he's going to bring some juice off the edge there too. So I'm excited to watch Joseph Osai play, and I think he's ready to go, and they love his potential. And that's the thing. He should have been a second-rounder He was expected to be a late first round, early second rounder in that 2021 draft. So if you flip him and Carman and you say, oh, well, Asai was the 46th pick and Carman was the 63rd pick, you feel a little bit better about both guys. Obviously, that isn't the case, but I think Asai is going to be a good player.
I'll address this quickly, Jesse. Yes, that's a sealed bottle of Blanton's up there. Right here.
Yeah, we're not getting into that one.
Careful there.
You have a glass desk.
That's okay. Can we? It is sealed. I've got another bottle that's open, but when it's gone, I'm gonna open that box. Like it's meant to be drank. I don't save it and display it.
When I'll have another, fancy. I'm just gonna cheers myself, and then
my God. All right, let's get to the next one here.
All right, what do we got?
I've seen this Chris Evans question come up a few times, so let's.
Well, Wyatt, Trayvion's actually not on the roster. They cut him today, so they waived Trayvion Williams, and so I think he'll be back on the practice squad. They have 13 spots right now on the practice squad. You can hold up to 16, so we'll see there. As far as Chris Evans goes, man, it's tough. It's the pass blocking element. He's obviously the second most talented running back on the team. You know, he can do stuff Joe Mixon can't do. As a pass catcher, I think he's pretty dynamic. So it's kind of like Mixon and then running back by committee. I think you'll see some Samaje Perine, certainly. And then you'll see some Chris Evans as well. I don't know if they'll be necessarily the RB2, RB3 designations, but I think they see the potential in Chris Evans. And like you, I want to see him unleashed a little bit because those are the wrinkles. Like Hayden, Hurst on down, those guys are wrinkles. Hayden, Hurst, Chris Evans, Samaje Perine, whoever. What wrinkle can you add? Trent Taylor, right? His 2-point conversion against the Chiefs. What wrinkle can you add to the offense to where when you need it and you got to have something, you can go to someone not named Jamar, not named T? Because sometimes defenses are going to take those guys away and you're going to have to catch opposing defenses off guard. And so, yeah, Chris Evans is certainly one of those guys.
Don't give him ideas. Enough with this. This is my place. He's here visiting. Don't give him ideas. Do you understand? Like there was times where he legitimately would be like, Andrew, there's this place for rent, or there's this place for sale. Like we could have our own little compound. Like, what are we doing? What do we start a whole?
Hey, who would show up to the CBT compound? We could have live shows. It could happen, and you'd have to edit it all.
Let's see here.
Did you bust out some McKenna? Is that what you did next?
I did.
Oh shoot, that's what I'm gonna have to do next. Hey, hold on. Who would be Big Spoon? All right, go ahead.
I know you talked about Thad Moss. I was just having this conversation with someone today.
Would you? Go ahead.
No.
What were you saying? I'm curious what you think. I'm dead serious.
Okay. Well,
and I like Thad Moss, by the way.
Yeah.
Friend of the channel. Go ahead. With that said,
I think he's made some improvements over last year. I think we're seeing him clearly gelling a bit more. Look, if he's not on this team, where's he going to be a better fit?
I agree. And I think practice squad is right for him. He didn't do enough in the preseason. And I know here's the thing. Thad Moss isn't as bad as 5 penalties and the drop ball over the middle, all of those things. But he's also not good enough to warrant a roster spot right now. He didn't play his way onto the roster. And so I think it's about right. I don't like, he knows the system. He knows how Darren Simmons works. He can contribute on special teams if you need him. He certainly could come in and catch a couple passes from Joe if needed. But it's not like he's a dynamic athlete. It's not like he's a great blocker. So I think he is what he is. And I know his last name, and I know he came from LSU and all of those things. But some of those guys from LSU are practice squad players. Not a bad thing. Tyler Shelvin, by the way, at this stage right now, practice squad player. That's why he's on the practice squad.
We didn't even have a question with this.
Watson, my man.
Yeah, we just could call you out.
This is our first time doing super chat, so I appreciate you for doing that. And it's just something we weren't against. We just didn't really talk about it enough, and we just decided to try it out tonight. That's all.
I was a little hesitant. I don't like feeling like I got to pressure people to pay any money, but at the same time, as we get bigger, it is helpful to be able to sort through things and fund James in my house right now because there's gonna be a lot of cleanup.
Hand me some of that McKenna.
I don't even know what that is. I just had to flash it up for a moment. Some filler.
Andrew.
Hey.
Cheers. Hey, what's everybody drinking? A little McKenna 10-year here?
There's nothing in that glass. This glass? What are we doing? What are we doing
I
here?
don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Marquez. Okay.
Desmond, I just saw a Desmond Noel injury. Desmond Noel's dealing with a high ankle sprain.
Where's that?
I think he's still a member of the organization. He was placed on IR, I believe. So he went unclaimed, and so he was placed on injured reserve, is what I was told today. So there's that. I thought he played pretty well. Kind of excited to see him develop a little bit. And I've never talked to Desmond Noel in my life. I've heard a couple of interviews. Haven't been able to talk to him. There's a lot of guys. When there's 90 guys, it's tough. Even though we've tried to do some of those one-on-ones and stuff, it's tough to talk to all of them. But Desmond Noel certainly caught my eye, and I thought he played pretty well in camp.
I'm going to flash up another one. It was a really good question. I'm going to pull up. First of all, someone asked, yes, we are. Oh, wait, here, let's pull this up. Oh, James, are you allowed to say Houday? Because everyone yells at you because you're not a fan.
I mean,
I'm a fan. I'll say Houday, but James is going to be a little afraid, but he's going to have to.
What? A little afraid. Houday, Vickers, appreciate you, my man. Or Houday, Vickers, appreciate you, my lady. Either one, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't want to assume. Vickers Media. Look at that. We just gave a shout out. $1.99, by the way.
Yeah, you get the shout out. There was a really good question I've been trying to pull up. I know I'm wasting time doing this, but and I'm sorry. Look, whoever asked the question, this is where I try to sort through things and figure out.
Hit that one.
Which one?
Travel Williams. Up 2. Down 1. That one. Is this the end? And I know you meant Travion, but it was just kind of funny. Travel Williams. No, I think he might come back to the practice squad. I really do. We'll see. I thought Travion played well. Here's what, and I was actually talking with Paul Dehner Jr. about this, and he said this, and it hit home because, like, I can't imagine this. So you work your whole life. Travion Williams is bounced on the active roster and practice squad and all that. He makes the cut yesterday. And today, because they're awarded 3 guys, if they didn't get any of those claims, he's probably still on the roster, right? If they didn't get any of those waiver claims, and boom, just like that, he's released. So I think he'll be on the practice squad, and I hope he is because he's a good guy. I talked to him in the locker room last week.
Had a couple of Ben Brown questions, and this is a good one.
Yeah. Mark Graves, would Ben Brown have made the team in your opinion if not for injury? Can he come back from injury reserve next year? Next year, yes. So he's out for the year. He was actually, Mark, in my pre-training camp 53-man roster. I thought he had a shot to beat out Trey Hill. Now, I'll say this. I thought Trey Hill played pretty well during this preseason. It's ugly. It's hard to tell because Carman was next to him, and there was a lot of ugliness, and he was playing at times. I thought, you look at that Giants game, it was Volson and it was Hill. And those 2 guys, I thought, really played well. They played every offensive snap, 67 offensive snaps in that second preseason game. And so, do I think Ben Brown has a shot? Absolutely. I think he was a nice addition. I hope he can get healthy because the reason he went undrafted is because of health, because of past injuries. He got injured again now. So we'll see. But hopefully he can get healthy because that's the thing is you want, at least for me, I root for health and then let the chips fall where they may, right? And so hopefully Ben Brown can get healthy and compete next year for a roster spot. Appreciate it.
The sign is Blues Frozen Bananas from Arrested Development. I've had that thing for years. It was handmade for a big season release party. I've stored it on the shelf.
So this is when I got invited to this.
This right here is what they're asking about.
Yeah.
You got invited to that? I invited you?
I got invited to that. I had never seen Arrested Development in my life.
Yeah, of course not.
And so I didn't go because naturally. But Andrew and I, we used to work in insurance. That's how we kind of met each other. And so that was that. It was an office party type of thing. Now it was all your friends, but it was an office invite. And so there you go.
I don't know if we could possibly know
that. Jim, so as of now, I know this. I don't know all of that answer yet, but what I can tell you is they did claim 1 offensive lineman and they got him. I wouldn't have been shocked if they claimed a cornerback and didn't get him, but I don't know for sure. Because the only way that leaks is through agents like, 8 guys, claim my client and stuff like that. So as of now, no, I do not know the answer to that about how many claims the Bengals put in, but they were awarded 3 guys. And so here's what this is going to tell me, by the way. Is their evaluation right? or is the rest of the NFL's evaluation right? That's one. Two, did these young teams, and this matters, not have enough space? The Bengals don't have a lot of space, but not have enough space for guys that could be mild contributors this year. Because if the Bengals added 3 guys that are mild contributors this year, well, their roster just got a hell of a lot better because their roster is really good. It's hard to find spots, and that's why they're doing all this reshuffling and stuff. So it's interesting, but I don't know yet. If I do find out, of course, I'll mention it in one of our videos for sure, especially if it's a noteworthy name.
Quickly, you're welcome. Arrested Development. That's the reference. Arrested Development,
my
Star
God.
Wars, My Children, Bourbon. It's all very important stuff in my life. Calvin and Hobbes. It's all around me. Thank you.
By the way, hold on.
What?
This grab that ball right there. This? Yeah, your big chair's in the way.
Yeah.
I've offered, this is a Kenyon Martin sign autograph ball right here. Look, Kenyon Martin, right? Go Bearcats, right? 1999. What a season. Michigan State would have gotten crushed in April 2000 if Kenyon Martin hadn't torn his ACL against St. Louis. I've offered this man like $10 for this, and he will not take it. How much should I offer? Put it in there. How much will get it done?
Knocking the mic.
I'm just curious. How much do you think will get it done? Knocking the mic. It's one mic. There's 2 people.
I know. We were supposed to have 2 mics. Sorry. We had some difficulties.
Hey, channel coordinator.
Norton. There's always money in the banana stand.
Where did I find this guy?
All right. Let's keep it going.
Norton, there's funny, and I don't even get the joke.
You wouldn't. Yeah, I saw a couple Leatherwood comments, questions. That's a good one.
Yeah,
they were liking him. Remember him in the draft? Going in the draft?
Well, because he has got that guard tackle flex. I liked him better than Jackson Carman. I'll say that. Now, the Raiders reached, and I felt that at the time. Because the conversation was, would Alex Leatherwood be available at 38? I wanted Jamar Chase at 5. Alex Leatherwood at 38 would make some sense. Raiders took him at 17, like the Raiders do. That being said, yeah, I was in. Not on a claim, though. And that's the part. I wouldn't have claimed Alex Leatherwood, and I'm surprised the Bears did. You're guaranteeing over $6 million to this guy over the next 3 years. And I get it. The Bears line sucks. You got a quarterback that's on a rookie deal. You're not paying any receivers. I guess you could go that route, and fine. At the same time, if he had cleared waivers, and this is probably why the Bears did it. If you're the Bengals, yeah, of course you go after that guy because he tested like an elite guard. They played him at tackle for the Raiders. The Raiders were an absolute dumpster fire last year. Think about it. The John Gruden stuff, they somehow find a way to make it to the playoffs. No one thought the Raiders were beating the Bengals in that game. Nobody. I mean, I felt the feelings at Paul Brown Stadium as Derek Carr was driving off. I don't think anyone had any doubt, which 31 years, right? So the Raiders were a dumpster fire last year. And so I think Alex Leatherwood, could he turn it around? Maybe. So, yeah, I would have been, if he had cleared waivers today during this, and he would have by 4 p.m. at this time during this chat, I would have been all in on kicking the tires on Alex Leatherwood.
I just want to call it Brian, known Andrew Fox Miller fan, Brian. I'm just going to say, it's where I got my graduate degree, like master's. I got that from Xavier. I went to undergrad UC, so I'm a fan of both. I'm just saying. It.
Romain Sato ain't walking through that door. No one's even going to get that reference. Lionel Chalmers ain't walking through that door.
I like how you're pulling out reference. No one's going to get the reference. You didn't understand what Arrested Development was. Like,
of the two, I'd much rather be into Xavier basketball. Let's keep it rolling.
What do we have here?
There you go. Pick that one.
Which one? Here? This one?
Yeah, do it. Let's have a little fun. If someone hated on Mike Thomas and Brandon Allen, plays Jackson Carman when James's head explode. I mean, here's the thing: is like Brandon Allen's an average backup. Like I know what he is, but I'm not gonna kick him to the curb because Jake Browning. Like I watched Jake Browning when he was at Washington. He was throwing to a certain receiver that I was pretty high on. There's a lot of times where that certain receiver, don't say his name, had to wait on the ball from Jake Browning. I'm not all in on Jake Browning. Second part, Mike Thomas. This dude, 1, idolized Chad. 2, runs great routes. 3, is a great special teams player. I mean, I get it. I understand it. Like, he's going to help the Bengals win more this year than some of these other guys would.
I'm going to have you transition that same thing because I was talking about this with a friend today too.
Thad?
No. Oh, is that what they're talking about?
Burrow?
we're going to spin this. I'm talking about Allen.
Oh,
The relationship between Burrow and
Oh,
Allen, and
yeah.
the relationship between Taylor and Allen. Is there something to be said for that, right?
there is. I don't lean on that though. Like, here's the thing. I think if you would have put Brandon Allen in with the starting offensive line and the Bengals receivers in against the Giants starters, I think the Bengals would have beat them by double digits, just to give you an idea. And he was playing with backups. So it's a backup with all backups. Now, Jake Browning flashed. I get it. To me, so did Brandon Allen at times. And so, yeah, the relationship, does it matter? Absolutely, it matters. It's much like, I'll compare it to the Kevin Huber thing with Drew Chrisman. When you build up some equity, it's hard to dethrone that. Think about it. You ever wanted a promotion for someone that's been there longer than you and built up more equity? It's hard. It's very hard. I've been in that situation multiple times in this business. Guess what? Most of the time, they go with a known commodity. And they were probably right at the time. And that's what the Bengals are doing with Brandon Allen. And he has more experience. And that's part of it.
I'm just flashing things as you're
Allen has had numerous chances.
No, you didn't even have to. I'm just.
I'm going to, though.
I want to.
The Houston Texans game. He went to Houston and he outplayed Deshaun Watson, both bad rosters, end of 2020. Dropped a dime to T. Higgins. Remember that throw? It's better than any throw Jake Browning's made in anything. And I'm not knocking Jake Browning, by the way. He may end up on the roster. He may be the Burrow's backup next year, but he is on the team. He's on the practice squad. So let's relax here. They kept all three quarterbacks still, and hopefully Jake Browning stays on the practice squad all year, to be honest, because if not, something went really wrong. Just flashing up stuff.
That's a good one.
Casey, I appreciate the question. No, I don't actually. Not before week one. I think they put that 5th-year option in place. They feel confident in that, and they'll see how he does this year. Now, next offseason, could they do that? Absolutely. I mean, next offseason is going to be a juggle. You got Logan Wilson. You got, obviously, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, all eligible for contracts. What a draft. Think about that. What a draft. Anyways, all three guys could be extended. So we'll see on them. But yeah, I think Jonah, if he plays well, he's going to want an extension. He's going to want that long-term security. And the Bengals are going to want to lock him up. So we'll see. It's a big year for Jonah Williams, no doubt. But I do think they made the right call, because there was some debate, I know, inside the walls of Paycor Stadium about the 5th-year option for Jonah. I think they made the right call here. I know it's guaranteed, but he's at least solid, right? And so solid is better than who knows. If he was going into his last year and it's just a lame duck type of season, you might have to overpay for him. Now you have some security.
Look, legitimate question.
Bro, look at you. Of course you would ask this. My guy. He changed his name. I know him, though. It's all right. Keep going.
Answer the question.
Oh, I thought you were going to.
I mean,
biggest bro in the locker room. Just name one, and then I'll tell you if I agree or not.
You're okay. All right.
Because that's the fun part. I'm in the locker room. You're not.
Yeah. No, I get it.
By the way, this could get me in trouble, so I don't like that. Go.
Okay, fine.
CJ Uzomah needs to come back because it's an easy one.
I know. Who? That's the question, right? Who replaces CJ Uzomah
as the bro?
Who's the Brandon Allen of CJ Uzomah in the locker room? Man, is it Hayden Hurst? It's not Hayden Hurst. No, he's a little too mild mannered. Who?
He's a baseball player, man. He's quiet. No,
you want to just
no options.
You've got an answer.
I'm just
clearly.
asking. I mean, I'm just asking.
Who is it?
The biggest bro?
Yeah.
Evan McPherson got a little bro in him.
Really?
He stayed out at the halftime show. That alone,
he did.
That's Clark Harris has got a little bit, old man, bro. They got Andrew Fox Miller, bro.
Yeah, McPherson's got a bit of a squad. Stoke Nation, McPherson.
Yeah. I mean, Lel Collins walked around and went to Lululemon at Kenwood Mall and bounced around a little bit.
The bro was the guy that went out there and reported it and took pictures.
The thing is, I was almost going to Kenwood Mall. I almost did it. It was close.
Mike Hilton, that's a decent one.
I don't think Mike Hilton's a bro. Like Reader's not either. Reader loves cereal and movies. Like he's not. Logan Wilson. Yeah, Logan Wilson. If you know,
like
a couple cocktails.
Yeah, like he might go snowboarding once in a while. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Hubbard. No,
actually,
really.
Actually,
he might host the party, but he's not the guy that's like the most fun at it.
That's fair. Well, yeah, I agree with that.
No, this is why I need to be here for these kind of things.
No, you know who the bro is. Duh, it's obvious. What the? I can't believe it's Trey Hendrickson.
Really?
It's Trey Hendrickson.
Him?
Yeah. I'm gonna leave it there.
All right.
That doesn't mean he parties and goes crazy. I don't mean that. I just mean like the dude that just plays football and hits people hard and talks crap and then comes back and smiles about it. Like when I mentioned earlier in the live, him and Joseph Osai got into it. It wasn't bad thing. There was no bad blood there. So, all right, let's keep them coming in.
It's not Joe Burrow. It's not Joe Burrow.
No, we're going to go about another 14 minutes here. We'll get to an hour. So get your questions in here.
I'm not going to lie. If you already asked the question and you really want to answer, feel free to ask it again. It's so hard to keep up with these. I'm doing the best I can.
Coach Taylor is not the bro. Come on now. Come on. The best Zach Taylor story.
Josh, you're more of a bro than Zach Taylor. I'll tell you that right now.
He's
in every live. So this dude is always on point.
Yeah, he is.
Someone asked this earlier. They asked again. They did what I did. I'm good with this. Like, is he still in the arm sleeve?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Allen Iverson vibes. I was going to say Allen arm sleeve. Allen Iverson vibes. That's all. He's going to wear a headband too. No, I don't know exactly. I think it's a comfort thing potentially. We'll see. We'll see if he wears them. The thing I was worried about is the knee brace. Will he wear it? Will he not? He has not worn the knee brace once, so it doesn't look like he's going to wear it week 1. We'll see. But the fact that he hasn't donned it at all, including in 11s against the Rams, don't anticipate seeing that against the Steelers on September 11th.
Why? I only make this quick.
I mean, I actually talked with Burrow about lifting the other day. I'll keep that between us. But no, I try to do something every day. And that's why I'm intrigued. I'll tie it into Burrow. That's why I love that Burrow mentions that.
Can you answer the question?
Because he says, what do you mean lifts? I mean, every lift. I do all of them. Like, what are you talking about? Most lifts. I do a multiple shoulder workouts. I'll do deadlifts. I'll do some squats. Not a lot of heavy squats. Usually I do some athletic stuff. I'll do box jumps, explosion stuff that also work your legs as well. Because I don't want to lose that part. Anybody you could be 55 and lift heavy on squats. I want to keep that explosion for as long as I can because at some point it goes.
I've been wondering this myself. I know it's tons. It's heavy speculation because they got a lot. Quantity wise, they have a lot of wide receivers.
It's impossible to say, honestly, David.
I guess the real question is, how do you think Pryor will do in the NFL? Right?
It's really tough. Like I think the kid's got talent. I think he works really hard, really soft spoken. The Bengals were bummed he got claimed today, and they thought he was going to pass through waivers. And the funny part about it was, and Zach acknowledged this, his brother, Press Taylor, is in Jacksonville as an assistant. And he was like, I called my brother yelling at him. Look, it sucks. They found Kendric Pryor. They were this close to sneaking him on the practice squad, and Jacksonville came in. So, look, I think both things can be right. I hope he balls out in Jacksonville. Right. And I also hope that the Bengals claims, that they made, and I think they were anticipating some roster movement today. Those moves, I hope they pay off this year because they're in win now mode. And I don't think Kendric Pryor, I think there were multiple layers to this wide receiver room, including a Trent Irwin, that would be in the way of him getting on the field this season.
Ready?
Yeah. Are you more excited to see the new line player reform defense with Dax Hill? Honestly, Jacob, good question. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, I'm a big Dax guy. Me and Dax, it's hilarious. I mean, the first time I chatted with him, just started vibing with him, but before the NFL draft, I was like, man, I started to hone in on Dax. I was like, man, this is the guy. Like, if he's there at 31, it's kind of my guy. And it's hard to plant your flag at 31, and I like to every draft, really hard to. But he was one of the guys I mentioned at that 31st pick. And I think he's going to bring a whole new dynamic, a bunch of speed, athleticism, all of those things he showcased in the preseason. I think he's ready to do it. And the thing is mentally, I think he can shift all around. So I'm really excited to see that, especially because Lou Anarumo got a lot out of Trey Flowers, a guy the NFL kind of kicked to the side last year. And I think Flowers now is going to be poised for a good year. So what happens to a guy like Dax Hill, who's young, smart, hungry, athletic, all of these things, and doesn't have to be the dude, but can be one of the dudes? And so I'm excited to see him. But look, the offensive line is a huge question mark. So it goes back to that. And how successful will this team be? Well, how good is Cordell Volson? How good is Lyle Collins? How good does this group come together? I love Ted Karras and what he's brought to that room. I think it's underrated, the leadership. He was inviting early, and I think it was OTAs. I don't know if it was camp. Maybe it was early in camp. I think it was OTAs, though. Remember, he was inviting offensive linemen, defensive linemen to his house to watch one of the MMA fights or boxing matches or something. And it was cool to see that. I didn't ask him. It was before I had time to talk to him and sit, chat with him one-on-one. But no, I'm curious to see that offensive line room, because if that offensive line is good, this offense should be a top 5 offense in the NFL. So I'm excited to see Dax. I don't want to downplay that, but I would say the offensive line.
You and Dax are a bit bonded, right? He was your first one-on-one locker room interview, right? Since coming on because of COVID, right?
On this channel, yeah. He was my first one-on-one.
Bengals,
you're right. Yeah, he was my first one-on-one locker room interview. Got to do the whole tripod setup and interview him. And
that video's out there.
And it is, yeah. You go back in late April. It was out. It was on the second day of the draft. Yeah. Look, he has no idea what I thought about him pre-draft either. I don't do that. I'm not like, man, I think you're great. But we've we've clicked a little bit. So it's been good to see him have some success, and hopefully that continues. All right. Orange Black Gang. It took me a second. ORN. It took me a second to do. Orange Black Gang. How's the new offensive line looking in practice? So here's the thing. I think they've looked outside of the left guard spot pretty good, but we haven't seen much of Lyle Collins. So I think Jonah has been pretty good. Him and Trey Hendrickson have butted heads all camp in a good way, getting each other better. Cordell Volson has flashed, and obviously last week against the Rams, I thought he played pretty well. Karras and Kappa, both, I think, are upgrades from what they had last season. And then obviously Lyle Collins, we haven't seen much of. Last week in joint practices, look, the Rams, their defensive front is really, really good. They had their fair share of wins, and they had their fair share of losses. So it's tough because we haven't seen the whole starting line together as a unit. And so I think all these mental reps, all these reps they're going to get in practice over the next 10 days or so, it's going to be big. And hopefully they can be 15th this year. Because if they're 15th, the Bengals have top 2 skill players, maybe the best skill players in the NFL. It's up there, top 3. And so they're going to be one of the top offenses. But yeah, I am optimistic, and I think they are better because there aren't as many question marks as there were in past seasons.
I'm only going to address this because a few people have asked about it. I will say, for those of you that are new to the channel, James does a prediction. Usually, let's say the game's on a Sunday, he'll do it like the Friday, right? It's been a while. It's like the Friday prior to the actual game, and we usually post it up. So when we do get questions like that, on the rare occasion we do a live, he gets very tight-lipped about it. He's like, well, I don't want to spoil whatever I decide to ultimately do for our prediction video.
Yeah.
I will say, from where I'm sitting right now, I don't know either. I honestly haven't had the time to sit and process what I think will happen. I think they win. I'll tell you that, but I don't know about score yet.
Yeah, I'm not going to give a score. They should win because they're either going up against Mitch Trubisky, who's fine, but not great, right? If you told me Mitch Trubisky was the Bengals' backup in 2024, wouldn't shock me. At the same time, Kenny Pickett, does he scare you? Not really. I think he's fine. I think the Joe Burrow comp, and that is out there. LaShawn McCoy dropped that, was ridiculous. So should the Bengals win? Yeah, I'm going to pick them to win. They're at home. They're against the team that they swept last year. I think the Steelers are better than they were last year. I think George Pickens is a problem. I think that they have really good skill talent. Pat Freiermuth is going to really test Dax Hill and Trey Flowers and those guys early. Obviously, Najee Harris out of the backfield. But this Bengals offense should be able to do enough against this Steelers defense, even though the Steelers defense is good. And I think this Bengals defense is kind of underrated at this point and should be able to really slow down that Steelers offense.
First of all, thank you, Clay, for the shout out. Lived in North Carolina since 06. Diehard Bengals fan
Yeah,
for
man.
life.
06.
Hope you've been following us, and if you haven't, that's okay. Just stay with us. We've been at this for over a year now. We're constantly trying to put the best stuff we can out there. James is usually the one on camera. We got some newcomers, and appreciate that.
Yeah. So Joe Goodberry every Tuesday, Elise Jesse every Thursday. So tomorrow night. That's why we picked today to go live. We've hit you with a lot of videos. Literally, I recorded a video today about about the OJ Howard stuff. I called Andrew just to give you a sense of our.
I'm like getting my kids ready to get on the bus.
I was lifting, and I was 7:45 in the morning.
Humble brag.
Ian Rappaport. No, because I was in the gym.
I know.
I was literally in the gym.
I know.
Ian Rappaport. The tweet comes down that OJ Howard likely to sign. I made it home. I live right, it's like a mile away. Made it home, wrote a quick article, hit record, did the video, had the video up by 8:45 or whatever. That's all Andrew. And it's an exciting time. But no, I appreciate it. I appreciate the tip. I appreciate you for following along, and hopefully we're going to travel to most of the games. So those tips and stuff, they'll help with that for sure, because I'm serious. I mean,
no, I'm not laughing.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, we're traveling. I mean, I booked New Orleans today. We're in the process of booking Dallas. So we'll be at all the games, hopefully most of the road games as well. And we'll be able to make it work.
Wow.
Whoa.
Betsy, thank you.
Yeah. Betsy McNabb. Thank you so much, Betsy. I appreciate that. Yeah. Oh man, that's too much. Look at that. Holy smokes. You're blowing us away here. Go ahead, Andrew.
He's got to be able to afford me somehow,
Yeah, I'm gonna. That's wild. So yeah, Pat McNally was, is your dad? Yeah, he's.
Oh, okay.
He's literally. Was I talking about this yesterday? 2 days ago? It was about the little argument that Frank Pollock was having with the officials, and it was a couple days after, and it got brought up. I think it was Sunday, and your dad got brought up, and it was like, oh well, he could come coach right now. He's the best offensive line coach of all time, and no one. You're talking about veteran media. No one blinked at all. No one said batted an eye, nothing, and it was just no one argued. And so, no, thank you so much. You certainly didn't have to do that, but it's appreciated, and I appreciate you supporting the channel. And by the way, hopefully he sees some good results this year. I do think Frank is putting them in the right direction. I love chatting with Frank. Love it, because he's so direct, and I think they have the right guys to be direct with now. The Ted Karrases of the world, the Cordell Volsons. I think Jonah already took a like to that. Obviously, Lel Collins knew Frank beforehand. So
I thought this is good because it kind of brings up a thing that we didn't get to talk about a whole lot.
Confused. He had no idea.
No clue.
He had no idea. And that's good. You know what that tells me?
Give a little context for those that didn't see that.
Yeah. So
our news conference is out there.
Yeah. So I asked Joe Burrow in today's news conference. We posted it here on CBT.
10-minute, 30-something mark. I'll tell you
was
that
it
right
10?
now.
I thought it was 9:30.
10 something. Don't listen to James. I'm telling you right now. I
You
edited the video.
Yeah,
I know exactly.
I was just in there. I don't remember the time. Anyways, so the 10:30 mark, I said, hey, Joe, you've been, a big recruiter in past free agent cycles, the past couple March free agent cycles. Did you know OJ Howard was in town? And have you chatted with him at all? And he was like, who? And he was just totally thrown off. And he was like, oh, hopefully I'll get to talk to him. And I'll address this again because we have more watching now than we did when I talked about. I don't know if that's going to happen now that they added Devin Asiasi or Asiasi, excuse me, Asiasi. So we'll see. But they already added a tight end. But yeah, I think he was definitely surprised. I don't think he had any clue. I think that was a genuine Joe Burrow reaction. We'll get a couple more in, and then we'll say goodbye here.
Yeah, I just want to point out one quick thing, and this is a little shout out because I see it. This is an old comment. I know we've gone up in likes. I just want to, Josh, I appreciate it. You're pushing people to give us likes, and I know that's a very tired to some people thing that people hear on YouTube. Oh, give us a like, hit the bell, subscribe. Some people say it like on every video.
Yeah,
but
yes.
Don't even.
There's a reason.
Yeah,
there's
okay.
a reason.
You get to say it enough. But my whole point is this: like, I watch that because it helps me know what you all value more than other things, right? So, like, if I see, and I know views is one thing and watch time is one thing, but like engagement, you give likes, you're commenting on things. I'm like, wow, people really want more of that. So let's give that to them. So in an example like this, where we're doing a live stream, we don't do this often, I know. But at the same time, like I watch the engagement and I appreciate everyone talking right now. This might be our biggest live stream that we've done so far. It's been so long since we've done one.
Yeah.
But like
We'll do more.
we
Don't
see
worry.
stuff like, hey, get those likes up. But like it really does mean something because I go back, I will review all of this and I'll determine like, hey, should we do this more? Did people want that? I want to give you what you want. Wait, what do you got?
513-859 just roasted you.
Bald head. I mean, it's not lush. I'll tell you that right now.
I mean, whatever. I look bald on these because my hair is blonde, so whatever. No, I that's hilarious. I was just dying at that one.
Brian, just gotta be a supporter.
Someone asked about kick returners. Evan's gonna return kickoffs, and then as far as punt returners, it'll be Trent Taylor. All right, last call for questions here. Last call for questions. This has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Like
I told Andrew we'd keep it at an hour. We're over an hour now. So, here's the thing, though. We'll do these because I just set the precedent. I could just leave the stadium, come here, and then, we'll do one here and there. And we'll probably have to do it potentially on Wednesdays in between Joe's show on Tuesday nights and Elisa's show on Thursday. So it might not be every week, but we'll try to do them as much as we can during the season. Don't you worry.
Let's see. Just pulling up commentary as I'm looking for
you're good.
Here.
It's all right. Look, by the way, I think the Bengals roster and team got better today with those 3 additions. I do. I think that they added offensive line help. They added to the tight end room. They added a defensive tackle, which we haven't talked a lot about. They were eyeing him in the 2021 NFL draft. You're talking about a 4th rounder from last year. Jacksonville was a dumpster fire. So, you get Jay I don't want to butcher it. Tufele?
You're asking me? Didn't you get some sort of little program that
I did not. No, not yet.
You need to forward that to me so I can help you. What do you need?
Tufele. Tufele? It's close. I got
someone spell it phonetically in the comments for James, please.
Regardless, Jay, which Zach Taylor referred to him anyway, and I said it right in my video earlier, but I'm butchering it now. I think he's going to add to the defensive line room, and it just gives you a young guy that's going into his second year that the Bengals liked and probably would have drafted had he lasted a little bit longer. So there you go. How do you think the Bengals defense will do this year? Maybe we'll end on this one. I think they're underrated. I do. I think it's an underrated unit. You have a true number 1 corner in Chidobe Awuzie. I think he's a freak. I was surprised by how big he was in person. Dude's got big shoulders. It's different when you see him, and we didn't get to see him. Of course, I saw him in person last year in pads and then post game, but not up close personal. You're in the locker room, all that stuff. So I think he's a true number 1 corner. Eli Apple, I think he's gotten even better than he was last season. Really going up against Jamar Chase, going up against T. Higgins, 2 number 1 receivers. That helps a lot. This defense should be really damn good. I love the linebackers. I love the safeties. Obviously, you got that 3 safety look. That's one of the deepest positions on the team. The defensive line, they added today, obviously, but you got Trey Hendrickson, you got Sam Hubbard. Hopefully Joseph Osai can contribute early and often. I like it. Obviously, Reader in the middle too. So, no, I think they're going to be a top 10 unit, and expectations are pretty high for Lou Anarumo's squad.
Rapid fire. Yep. One or 2 minutes, rapid fire. Let's go. Because I can answer some of these, and I know you can if I can.
Go.
I've seen a couple T. Higgins things. We know he couldn't do that. They already had the jerseys ordered. He would have to pay a fee to be able to pay for them.
Next year, 85 will become 5. Next year. Just didn't want to pay for it. That's all.
I could not play left guard. No way.
Nah, he's small. I'll throw him around.
Yeah,
I'll throw him around now. He's a little taller, but and I can't play tight end either. I'm Trent Taylor size. So me and Trent Taylor will he can return the punts. That ain't happening for me. That is the most dangerous job in America.
Rapid fire. How do you even grade the claims?
Oh, I mean, an A, because they added talent that they thought would help their team, and it's all young talent. You're talking about a former 2nd round pick in 2019, a former 3rd round pick in 2020, and a 4th round pick last year. All guys. I love it. I'll give it an A.
Rapid fire. Good night, Yash. Have a good night. Appreciate you staying up late. I know you're over
in London.
Yep. Let's see. I know this cannot be rapid fire, but we have answered this, and I might as well timestamp it every time someone leaves a comment asking the question. Do you want me? Does it help if I answer this one?
No, I'll do it
Quickly, rapid.
Yeah. Grew up rooting for the Bengals, rooted for the Bengals my entire life. Cincinnati native, covered the team. Can't jump on here and be like, yeah, I'm a Bengals fan, because that's part of the job. It's in the job description. It's almost like, a cop can't go to a party and party with, and play beer pong or drink bourbon or do whatever. He's got to break up the party. So there you go.
There you go.
It's part of the job description. I'm not rooting against the Bengals. There you go.
Yeah, that's usually the
yeah. They're like, who are you rooting for? Not the Colts. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't.
You think Super winning team?
Jackson. What is this? Jackson Carman?
What does that even mean?
What you doing, Jackson? What you doing to me? I don't know if I love the name right now. I'm just kidding. Can it be? Yes. I think they're more talented than they were last year. And if Quentin Spain forces Aaron Donald inside, we're talking about a Super Bowl champion, right? So it's that close. If Tyler Boyd, there's so many what ifs. I'm not even going to do it. If Logan Wilson doesn't get called. So yeah, can they be? Yes. It also takes luck to win the Super Bowl. Are they a Super Bowl contender? Absolutely. I expect double-digit wins. That should be everyone's expectation. And that's their expectation in the building. So I don't think that's anything crazy.
All right. We're going to close like this. We did rapid fire. Rapid fire from you. Tell us how long you've been a fan. Tell us where you're from if you want. Let's go. We're going to wrap this up and thank everyone for joining us. Let's see it. Comments. Let's let this happen. Look,
Bengals
John
fans
is
96.
setting the example.
Bengals fan since 96. I like it. I remember being devastated in 98, I believe it was. The Bengals lost to the Colts in a preseason game, the Peyton Manning Colts.
Weren't you in utero then?
No, yeah. I was very, very young. But Jeff Blake threw a deep pass touchdown to Darnay Scott, and they ended up losing the game. Anthony Munoz was on the call then too, and I was really mad that they lost that game. So that's one of my first memories of like a full game watching it for the Bengals.
I'm trying to keep up with everyone here.
2004, 1978, 85, Dayton, Ohio. Love it. Love this. Here's the thing this is our goal. We wanted to give every Bengals fan out there a platform to go to, a channel to go to on YouTube on this platform. And so I love that it's working. I love that it's coming together. I think Joe Burrow might have something to do with it, and Jamar Chase and the team's success, of course. But we love that you're all here. Seriously, this is awesome.
John
Kitten in 2001. Yeah. I love it. No, I remember the crosshats during the post-game press conferences. I actually think John Kitten is underrated. I do. I hate that people hate on him sometimes. It's ridiculous.
Wow, like I can't even keep up with this.
It's crazy.
For this. I love it.
Shaken Blake, love it. I remember the Shaken Blake days. I remember by the way, Jeff Blake in this era, deep balls and can run. Starting for a while. I remember his resurgence.
Dennis, this is about you all. We did answer that question. I'll timestamp it. We'll get it back out there. All right, keep going. 86. Who Day fan since 86.
Yeah, love it. Thad Moss, I'll answer it real quick. He's on the practice squad again, and I think they'll try to keep him on the practice squad this season. Since 1988. Love it.
Michael Allen dropped a St. Bernard reference.
Did he?
Yes, he did earlier.
Michael Allen. All right. I love it. Yeah. South Carolina. Madden 96 when I was like 5 and rode for them. Man, Michael, look, man, 96. So think about that. So you were 5. So your prime, like developmental years, they were awful. And then they got good. I bet you when you were like 13, 14, 15 would have been around that 05 year. You would have loved. I bet that was your favorite team. That was my favorite team, the 05 Bengals, no doubt.
This is a good one because we see a lot of people that are just Burrow fans and they followed him. Yeah. So I just want to call that out.
No doubt. Hey, by the way, that Broncos Bengals game last year was wild, and wouldn't be shocked if that is a playoff preview this year with Russell Wilson in Denver.
I'm sorry if I'm flying through them. There's a lot here, but I
One Nation Underground. Shout out. I met you at Sandy's. I remember that. I met you at Sandy's a couple weeks ago, so I appreciate. Sandy's is a pub for those wondering. 2012. All right, Jackson. So you got on the AJ Green, Andy Dalton train. That was one. See, me and Andrew were already talking Bengals daily.
Oh yeah.
Then just not on a platform, just in an office.
Bengals
office
Twitter.
setting.
Follow at James Rapien. Follow at Andrew Fox Miller. You should see the videos that I'm not allowed to put on Cincinnati Bengals Talk that I put on Twitter. It's Joe Burrow exclusive channel.
Yeah. The smelling of the pineapple.
Right.
Look at Deacon and Norris. 2017. That's tough. Huntsville, Alabama. again, thanks, Watson. Appreciate you, my man. Andrew, still on the fence. Andrew is going to convince you. Go, Andrew. Andrew convincing Andrew.
Still on the fence about what? If you're a fan,
why to be? It's pretty
Andrew
simple.
Norton. I know you're a fan. Stop this.
Do you know him?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I didn't mean to flash that up there. John Kitten or Brandon Allen. That's a funny question. We'll leave it up there for what it is. But
yeah.
Okay, let's see. I didn't mean to.
Lexington, love it.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Wow. Carl Pickens. Jeff Blake, underrated. Fight me.
Tom, I see you, man. I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reference.
Ooh, Klingler.
Deacon and Nora changed. They were a Patriot fan. They changed in 2017. Wow. That might have been good long term, but when the Patriots went to the Super Bowl in 18 and then won it in 19, that had to be at least a little painful. But yeah, welcome. I'm glad you're tuning in. Jalen Kitna. Who said Jalen Kitna? It's John Kitna.
No one said Jalen. Who said
Casey did.
Okay.
I'm just reading comments.
You're getting ahead of me.
CBT tailgate parties, just for those wondering. No tailgate parties, but we'll do a meetup. We will do a meetup.
You should rephrase that like we would, but Andrew needs to stay at home where he belongs in this basement editing videos.
And I'm at the stadium grinding, doing work. I mean, that's how it is. Game day is tough. Tailgating just not going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. Let's see here. There's not going to be a stream with Joe Burrow soon. I would love that, but I don't see Joe Burrow wanting that.
Hit Dustin real quick.
Where are you at? I want to skip ahead. I'm going to flip through people here.
Yeah,
boom.
It's fine. Flip through them all here.
I know. We can only.
Dustin, I'm not lying. Grew up a
ever.
Bengals fan. It's part of the job. So yeah, did I say I'm not a fan? Yeah,
you literally said you're not a fan.
I'm probably on the podcast. I'm sure.
I feel like you skirt around it where you're like, I can't I can't maybe it's not that I'm not a fan. I don't know. There's a difference between
I can't be. It's like It's like saying I don't even get it, but it's just part of the job. So yeah, Dustin, I'm not lying. Anyway, Madden 12, I fell in love with football. Yeah. Well, there you go. When you're LSU Tigers.
I'm sorry if this is repeat. I was kind of clicking as James was talking to me.
No, you're good. Click through.
All right, we should probably. I hate to skip through this, but man, there's so many here. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
What up, One Nation? TJ Hushman's
Pete Johnson. There's a picture of you and Pete Johnson when we were like 10 years ago. You and I remember when we went to Firehouse and then
yeah, that's right. Oh, Pete Johnson. I forgot we did that. Yeah. By the way, why did we go to a Bengals show if I hate the Bengals? Anyways, for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching. We have a ton in this video if you're just joining us about the free agents that they claimed, about the practice squad. We answered a bunch of questions. This was a lot of fun, and we'll try to do these regularly. I don't think they'll be weekly, but they'll be regularly here because we want to chat with you, be able to answer your questions, interact in this way. Hopefully the bourbon went down smooth like it did for us, and hopefully you enjoyed this. And make sure you check out Elise Jesse's The OT tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. And I'll be at the stadium tomorrow, Paycor Stadium, for more Bengals coverage. So for Andrew Fox Miller, who may have a video to edit, he doesn't know it yet, I'm James Rapien, signing off for now right here on CBT, Cincinnati Bengals Talk.